Now, the Coalition of Domestic Election Observers, CODEO, is engaging over 200 voter educators across the country to sensitize Ghanaians on the upcoming district-level elections and referendum, slated for December 17. According to acting chairperson of CODEO, Sheikh Arimiyao Shaibu, an elaborate set of initiatives have been activated to ensure a smooth process, which will improve the fortunes of the local-level elections.
In the past few days, CODEO has conducted a series of training workshops for its civic voter peace educators from 15 out of the total 16 regions in the country. The workshop to be conducted here in Accra within the next 2 days will be the final session of such workshops across the country to equip civic educators for their task ahead, of the elections. As a non-partisan and neutral observation group, I wish to emphatically state that CODEO has no position on the referendum question and outcome. CODEO's sole objective for the civic education activities in the election will be to boost general voter understanding of issues as well as participation in the elections. In the next 2 days, CODEO civic educators and peace educators who are also assembled in this room will go through an elaborate but purposeful program to prepare them for the various community-level civic education activities. Distinguished ladies and gentlemen, I wish to also emphasize that CODEO's efforts under the various interventions in support of the elections are to complement the efforts of key stakeholders and national democratic institutions in ensuring credible election processes, to help ensure that there is efficient and effective deployment of resources as far as civic education on the elections are concerned. CODEO is collaborating with the National Commission for Civic Education, NCCE, on its civic education activities. I wish to acknowledge at this juncture the positive response so far received from the Commission towards achieving this objective. As part of this collaboration between CODEO and NCCE, district and regional directors of NCCE have been invited to join the training of CODEO Civic Peace Voter Educators Workshop to facilitate collaborative work between district NCCE officers and CODEO civic educator and peace educators in the various districts across the country. Ladies and gentlemen, in addition to the district voter peace education, CODEO will recruit, train and deploy 1,000 Election Day observers on December 17th. These observers will be deployed to systematically and randomly selected polling stations nationwide to observe Election Day processes and to contribute to enhancing the transparency of Election Day proceedings.
Right. Now, Director of Democracy and Governance at the Office of USAID, Audra Lycos, says an overwhelming turnout at the referendum will deepen Ghana's democratic credentials and signal a new path of decentralization. She was speaking at the launch of CODEO's election support project here in Accra.
We know the efforts of this activity aim to complement the efforts of other key stakeholders such as the Electoral Commission and the National Commission for Civic Education in ensuring credible and inclusive processes. The United States has observed with keen interest the recent significant developments in Ghana's efforts toward comprehensive democratic devolution. Undeniably, the upcoming referendum offers Ghana's citizens an unprecedented opportunity to decide which path this process should take. Whatever the outcome of the referendum, citizen participation in the process clearly demonstrates the determination of Ghanaians to further strengthen Ghana's democracy. This is an exciting opportunity for Ghanaians to make history, and thus the United States encourages all citizens to participate fully in this process. We also further commend CDD and CODEO for their tireless efforts and commitment to supporting the vision to make a Ghana a model of citizen-centered governance in the subregion. We wish you well and success in your community-level civic and peace education activities ahead of the December 17th district-level elections and referendum. We trust this workshop will equip participants in how to carry out their civic and peace responsibilities with the overall goal of promoting citizen awareness, understanding, and participation in the elections.
Right, now as part of our public education on the upcoming exercise, we've been engaging experts. I've been joined in the studio by the National Commission for Civic Education, their Director of Communication to be precise. Of course, I'm speaking about Joyce Afutu. How nice to see you.
Yes, thank you. Good afternoon to your viewers.
Indeed, thank you for coming. All right, so, well, let's get started. First of all, it has come to our notice that people are already campaigning for one outcome or the other. Yeah. The president has waded in and called on people to vote yes, so that local level elections will be politicized. I want to get your take on that as NCCE. Is it actually all right for the president to seek to sway the vote one way or the other?
Yeah, for NCCE, we don't have a position as to whether people should vote yes or no. But we are doing the civic education to educate people on why they are even voting in the elections in the first place. So we are letting people know that it is their civic duty and it is their responsibility to put people in authority to govern this country. And if citizens check that responsibility, others will vote for their candidate or the same, and it will come to affect those who didn't vote. Okay. So we don't have a position. We are educating people to understand that district assembly elections is where actually development takes place, because the district assemblies are giving common fund to undertake development projects in the districts. So it is very necessary and important for citizens to get involved in the district assembly processes, in particular in the district level elections, and vote. Actually, this year there's a third one, which is the referendum. But even the referendum, people are really negating all our efforts, because people are saying that the referendum is for the election of MMDCs. Actually, the referendum is not. It is an amendment of an entrenched provision in the Constitution. That's Article 55, Clause 3, which bars political parties from participating in local level elections.
That's right.
So we are going to change this bit to introduce multi-partisan local government system in Ghana. So the Electoral Commission has put the question.
You say we are going to change it.
Yeah,
that's one possible outcome.
So it is proposed amendment of Article 55, Clause 3. So you could either go yes or no.
That's right.
So Electoral Commission has put the colors of the issue and then the question. So the issue is, are you in favor of the proposed amendment of Article 55, Clause 3? If you are in favor, then you thumbprint the yellow, which is yes. If you are not in favor, you thumbprint the dark brown, which is no. So the referendum is not the election of MMDCs, but a proposed amendment of Article 55, Clause 3 to allow political party participation in local governance. But there's an issue that is also going on. If you look at the Constitution, we have entrenched provisions and non-entrenched provisions. For the entrenched, like Article 55, Clause 3, you have to subject it to referendum for the entirety of the citizenry to participate and decide what they want. But for the non-entrenched, the people's representatives in Parliament can do that amendment. And so the Article 2431, that gives the president the power to appoint MMDCs. So at this point, there's a bill in Parliament and it will be passed very soon. The president is ceding that power that he has to the people of Ghana to elect. So if Parliament approves or amends that article non-entrenched provision 2431 to give that power to citizens to elect, it means they are going to elect their own MMDCs. So supposing that people vote in favor of the referendum issue that they want Article 55, Clause 3 to be amended to allow political party participation in local level elections. It means political parties can now sponsor candidates if we have to elect MMDC to contest. And this one, it is not even going to be only political party in power. all political parties in Ghana can sponsor candidates to contest the MMDC's elections. And that is not going to even take place in 2019. That's December 17th, as people are alleging. The current MMDCs, their tenure will end in 2020. That's right. So if there is going to be any election, it will go into 2021. So the 17th December elections is for people to elect first. They have 3 civic duties to perform on that day. They have to elect 1, your assembly member, 2, 5 unit committee members, and then 3, you vote on the referendum issue for the proposed amendment of Article 55, Clause 3. Right,
okay. So I guess the question I was asking at the beginning, by the way, thank you so much for that education. That was very comprehensive. You've really laid it out for us. The question I was asking at the beginning was about the emergence of campaigns, you know, for people trying to encourage voters to go one way or the other. And I'm asking, in terms of ensuring fair play and so forth, is it actually all right for the president to encourage people to vote one way?
For voting, you know, Ghana, voting is by secret ballot. So as for voting, people should not tell people vote this way or that way. Educate people to understand the issues and let them make their own informed decision and choices on election day.
So the president really shouldn't have made that comment, in your expert opinion?
For my opinion, I think people should be allowed to make their own informed decisions and choices.
All right. Now let's talk about what happens once this if we actually find ourselves in a position where we are electing MMDCs on partisan basis. So let's say we have an NPP government at the time, let's say we have an NPP government at the time, and then I live in a district where the chief executive was voted on partisan basis and happens to be NDC. Legally, are there any, or not even legally, but procedurally, do you see that there might be some difficulty in the execution of administration? How should the people understand such a position? What would your education be to people if such an outcome were to emerge from an election? What does it mean?
If it does, it means people must accept whatever decision the people of Ghana have taken and then abide by the rules. Because if you have been appointed as an MMDC in any district, metropolitan or municipal area, we the people, we have put you there. So people must respect the decision of the people. But MPP, NDC, they have been working all the same. We have constituencies that we have MPP, MPs during the SWA era. And it is happening now. They are working all the same. So people should respect the decision of the people and abide by the rules.
But for the first time, though, we would see a government of one party in some districts potentially handing over state funds for development to leaders who do not belong to their party, which means that the development agenda suddenly slips from the hands of central government. Do you see some potential difficulty there that the people ought to be aware of?
In fact, actually, as I said, we need to respect the views of the people. Because this is the person that people are saying, we have elected the person to represent us. And they are supposed to articulate their interests. So you need to be able to work with the person. And it is also to solve certain issues. You know, there's this thing that the executive has so much power, they do everything. So now if the president is ceding part of his power to the people of Ghana, what is more lucrative or important than this? And also, if we have also been talking about the fact that people think that if a party wins an election, it means they take everything and nobody has a stake in it. So if we go the other way around, you have maybe the president, like as we are now, if it is NPP that won the general elections, and we are electing MMDCs, we could have CPP, NDC, PNC, whoever, all of them having their candidates spread across the country, and they all feel a part of the governance system that we can all practice to ensure that people think that, oh yes, if now I don't even win the general election, I can have my people to represent the party at the local level and people will be fine. But ideally, whatever it is, we need to respect the laws of this country and work accordingly because we are in a democracy. And in a democracy, it's people's participation. We need to respect people's views and all that. So you don't have to say that, oh, this person is not in my party, so I won't work with the person. No, we shouldn't do that.
Now, elections are, you know, delicate times. You know, there's always the fear of the outbreak of violence and so forth. Unfortunately, we have had real examples of that happening, most recent being Ayawaso, West Wuogon, and so forth. Now that we're going to be expanding this even further, so we're not just voting at constituency level, we're now going to be voting at district level as well. What is the message of NCCE to voters and those who will be participating in this exercise to ensure that we do it in a civil way and not see some of the outbursts that we've seen in the past?
Yes, the message is very simple, that people should vote peacefully, people should vote early, and after casting your ballot, you should go home. If you want to witness counting, you come after 5 to come and witness. And people should not go to the polling station in party paraphernalia, because district level election is non-partisan for now. Once we have not amended the constitution, we have to, so that, and people should understand the issues at stake. People should understand that district level elections concerns them and they need to get involved. How often would you find your president in your district or your MP? They come when they are on recess. So, but for your assembly members, for your unit committee members, you are living with them. And when you have the issues, they should know the concerns, they should take it to the assembly, give people feedback on whatever is going on. And people should also show interest in the electoral process and also in the governance process. People should not just vote and then wait till the next 4 years. When people come to you, they come to them for them to renew their mandate, then they are asking questions. When we vote people into authority, we should follow them closely and look at what they are doing, whether they are articulating the concerns that we put in their hands. Because if you vote for somebody for 4 years, you are entrusting your whatever into the person's hands. And there's a social contract. Once you have voted for the person, it's also supposed to ensure that things that you are interested in are attended to. So if we vote and we go to sleep, yes, they also do what they want. But we should follow them, hold them accountable, ask questions. If things that they are doing, we think they are not the right things, let us question them. So when we do that, they will know that indeed we have given them our power for them to rule on our behalf. But where we go and we don't ask questions, we don't demand accountability, and then we leave them to do what they like. On election day, they will come and then try to coerce us. And what NCC we want to tell people is that don't sell your conscience. If you sell your vote, you sell your conscience. If you allow people to give you money before you vote for them, you have sold your conscience. You don't have the moral justification to even question them when they are doing things that are not right, because already you have sold your conscience. But one thing that I also want to add is our women. You know, women's participation in local level elections and even national elections, yes, it is very low if you look at the gap. And women, they constitute 51%. So we are more than half of the population. But when it comes to participating in the decision-making processes, there are a lot of gaps. So NCC would like to urge the public, where women who have put themselves up and are contesting the district level election and the unit committee elections, people should vote for them, because women are capable, they are lobbyists, they are mobilizers, and they can rally people around to undertake development projects. So they should vote for women so we can bridge that gap of low women's participation in the decision-making process. Okay,
let me ask about NCC's operations. I mean, how well are you doing in terms of educating people at that level? I ask this because I noticed that many Ghanaians, when it comes to who to hold accountable for developmental issues in their areas, they tend to go for the MP, whose role has nothing to do with development, if we are being strict. So I mean, why is that such a widely held view, even though it's inaccurate? Has the NCCE struggled to educate people on the importance of the district level administration?
Yes, we have. In 2015, we held a national survey on assessing some institutions on their performance in the Fourth Republic. And we did district assemblies, parliament, and then the media. And then for parliaments, people see their parliamentarians as development agents instead of district assemblies. So we have been educating people on the fact that parliamentarians are not development agents. They have the deliberative, legislative oversight, and then people's representative. That's the role of parliament. But unfortunately, because when they're also campaigning, they promise people, people also think, yes, they are supposed to undertake development projects in the regions and the districts. But that is not their job. That is the job of district assemblies. They are given common fund to undertake development projects. So people should not see their MPs as their development agents. And MPs should also not promise. Even with the district level elections, people are promising. And we are telling these assembly members, don't promise. Because these assembly members, they are not paid. They take certain allowance when they go for assembly meetings, subcommittee meetings, and then they take ex gratia when they are exiting. So if you promise and you go, and the assembly has a development plan already that is following, it means the things you have told your electorate, you cannot fulfill it. So this is where you hear that, oh, since I voted for my assembly member, I have not seen the person, I have not seen my unit committee members. They don't come to them again. But we are urging the people, since you are living with them, you know where they are, even if they don't come, chase them and ask them to do what you want for you. Because assembly members, they have a lot of functions to perform. They are supposed to what? Meet with the people and collate the views of the people in the electoral area and submit those views to the assembly. And then when they go for assembly meetings, whatever the assembly says, give them feedback. They are human beings. As you tell them, you have a 4-year term. So if the first year, the assembly will not do anything that you have submitted, what about the second year? What about the third year? And even as an assembly member, you should be a lobbyist. You'll be able to lobby projects from NGO, civil society, to your electoral area. Because the name honorable, when you go to the ground, that is where you see the power they wield. People respect them, so they can go places. So if you're an assembly member, you should be able to lobby, and you should be able to get projects to your people, and also make sure that you maintain close contact with your electorates, and let them know whatever is going on. Give them feedback, give them information, and let there be transparency. And I think your work will go on for you, because people even think assembly members are paid. When you say it, they say, ah, madam, if you are saying they are not paid, how come people are forcing and people are campaigning? We have come up with posters and they are spending money. They are paying people to vote for them. I said, I don't know whether they don't know. When you tell them, they don't believe it. Don't campaign. Don't overspend. Because when you go there, where are you going to take money to go and pay for the debt that you have incurred in your campaigning? So let us all be transparent. Let us be truthful to the electorate. Things that we cannot do, let us not promise. But let us be fair. Then tell the people they should vote for you. I mean, if you have helped the community, the electoral area, they know you. An assembly member or unit committee member, you should be accessible. When people need you for information, when there is something that they need to know, one of the duties of the unit committee members, they are supposed to liaise with the NCCE office in the district to undertake sensitization activities. They're supposed to help assembly staff to enumerate all rateable people in the unit area so that they can assist them to collect revenue and all that. And they are also supposed to ensure that when development projects are going on, they must also see a monitor so that when they even bring materials and all that, people will not pilfer and all that. So if they really know what they are supposed to do, they can work to help the assemblies to undertake development projects in the districts. All right.
Well, that's interesting and a very important aspect of this process that people ought to understand, that assemblymen are not paid for their role there. But you also mentioned how people call them honorable.
Yes.
Which, as we understand, is not a title that applies. Yes, has the NCC kind of given up on trying to educate people on that?
Look, you educate people and they hold on to whatever they have heard. For instance, the referendum question, we keep correcting, even in the media. People are still saying that the referendum is for the election of MMDCs. That is negating our efforts. You go here and you hear another thing. You go here, even this morning somebody told me on UTV when I spoke with them, they said, then if anybody says it, issue a press statement to just cancel whatever the person has said. I said, can you go about issuing press statement left, right, center? No, you can't do that. But what we are saying is that help all of us. The referendum is not for the election of MMDCs.
So those who have started putting up posters that they want to be voted as assemblymen and so forth, there is no district assembly election coming up?
There's district assembly election coming up, but we are not going to elect MMDCs.
Fair enough.
Yes.
So perhaps that is feeding the confusion.
That the citizens will perform 3 civic duties. You vote for your assembly member, you vote for 5 unit committee members,
and then you vote yes or no.
Yes, on the referendum issue for 2019, 17 December.
That's right.
And it is very key. Let us all get involved. Let us participate. That is the power that we have to let our voices be heard. So nobody should be left behind. And if you are voting, if there are PWDs who have also contesting, vote for them, because they are bona fide citizens of Ghana, and they also have to participate in the decision-making process.
Thank you. Positive message there. Joyce Afutu speaks for the NCCE, and I've taken the opportunity to get some education from her today on what's to come in the referendum, and of course the election of district assembly members.